Welcome back. We've just talked with the gay parents of triplets and heard from them about how they've coped with raising their children. Now, what's it like for the kids? With us today is Dr. Joan Anderson, a clinical child psychologist who is an expert on this issue. Dr. Anderson, thank you for being here.
Glad to be here, Cindy.
So tell me, what's it like for the children? Is it possible for them to be well adjusted by having same-sex parents?
Absolutely. There are good homes that have gay parents and lesbian parents. There are good homes that have different sex parents. Depends upon the child rearing practices. If you've done your homework and you know how to parent, the children from gay and lesbian homes come out just as well as the children from heterosexual homes.
Is there research that shows us some evidence that that's the case?
There's been some bad research over the years where there haven't been control groups or people haven't had peer review. There is some really good research now that's done scientifically, and it is extremely clear that there is no difference in their adjustment. There's a long list of reputable organizations that have
done their homework.
Done their homework, and they know that they're it's very clear. There is no difference.
So tell me, what about children growing up in gay or lesbian households? Do they have a higher probability of also being gay or lesbian?
No, that is another myth. They do not have a higher. The same percentage come out of gay lesbian homes as come out of different sex homes. Children are going to be what they're going to be.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter what the parent group is.
Mm-hmm. So do you think they have, or do they experience more teasing or bullying by their peers or others? I mean, how does that factor into having gay parents or lesbian parents?
That is the one major difference. When children are in junior high especially, they are particularly bullied in general. But when you have something in particular to have bullying happen about, it is much more difficult for them, much more difficult. And it's tragic to see the effect of the bullying. We know what that does to children's self-esteem and how it affects it. It's society in general that hurts children of gay and lesbian parents, not the gay and lesbian parents. It's parents of different sex parents have to be very careful that they don't tell their children bad things about it so that they set them up for bullying. Mm-hmm. Children overhear, they love to overhear, they love to eavesdrop. Mm-hmm. It's a child's favorite thing to do is to eavesdrop. Mm-hmm. So if you're in your home and you're talking about your own prejudices and your children overhear, they're the ones who will go to school and bully.
Mm-hmm. Also, very good point. What about having two dads without a mother at home? I mean, how, particularly for girls, I mean, how does that work?
Again, it depends on the communication style. If you've communicated with your dad from birth on or with your mom from birth on, it doesn't really matter. In our family, sexuality was a dinner table conversation with brothers and father and the whole 9 yards, and it works. It works really well. Who are the children going to be talking to when they grow up? Most people are going to be heterosexual. They're going to talk to the opposite gender parent. So they need to learn how to do that.
What about the common fear in the legal system that children who have same-sex parents might be more vulnerable or exposed to parents who will sexually abuse them or their friends? Is that true?
I think that's the biggest myth of all. 90% of pedophiles are male, and 98% of those are heterosexual.
Really? Now
Yes.
that's a surprising statistic.
Yes.
Tell me about whether or not you've seen a difference in kids who've been raised by same-sex parents versus heterosexual parents.
Socially, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, there is absolutely no difference. Both families, both types of families have grandparents and aunts and uncles, and there are many different types of families raising children these days.
So you're saying they might be more accepting and more open to looking at who their parents are from the inside, I suppose. Yeah?
They are more accepting. That's pretty clear, and that's part of the research. Especially the girls are much more in their adolescence, much more willing to look at different sides of things. Boys are much less likely to act out sexually. By 20s, they're all even. They're just like, you could not tell the difference from which home they came.
So you're saying over time, even if there are some issues that might be different because of different sexual preference of their parents.
It seems to be a non-issue according to the research, yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to our discussion that might be an important point for you to emphasize based on your practice and your personal experience with children?
I think the only point is that we don't want to hurt children. They didn't ask to be born. They didn't want to come into this world a certain way, and they have had the best chance they have to have a good life. We need to foster that, not sabotage it.
Dr. Anderson, thank you very much for being with us and explaining to us some of these very important issues about kids who do have same-sex parents.
Thank you for being here.